It's always good news when a new market is made available to us. Us as producers, feedlot operators, we can actually invest with confidence and, increase supply.
Rancher reaction in southern Alberta to China recently lifting a 4-year ban on Canadian beef from processing plants. A ban put in place after a rare case of BSE, mad cow disease, discovered in our province. And to get a read on evolving dynamics for the beef industry, we're joined now by Dennis Laycraft, Executive Vice President of the Canadian Cattle Association. Mr. Laycraft, welcome to Alberta Primetime.
Great, thank you for having me on.
All right, so how significant a development is this for your industry? What does restored access to China represent?
China was either our second or third largest market prior to the suspension in early 2021. Now, it should have been open within a few weeks into 2022, but there were other factors that came into play. But it is great to have it open. In that part of the world, it has particularly strong demand for things like short plates, short ribs, a range of cuts that we wouldn't normally see here. So it actually complements the demand in North America very well.
It's been 4+ years since the Chinese market was lost. What is it going to take for the industry to accommodate a return to access? Is it as easy as flipping a switch?
No, we are setting up, and I know talking to one of the processors, they're already setting up to get a shipment, hopefully either later this week or next week, that will move into there. It was a several $100 million market for us prior to the closure, and the U.S. and China are the two largest beef importers in the world. So they're both very important, but they both typically have demand for very different products. So it complements, as I said, what demand is in our market versus what the demand is in Asia.
How do you see ranchers and producers responding? Are there the cattle in place to move this forward?
Well, we do export a large number of cattle to the United States, so hopefully we keep more of those cattle here to be processed. A lot of them are processed right here in Alberta. And it is all about the competitive position, but our numbers are down similar to the U.S. So typically we have been exporting to Japan, South Korea, Vietnam, and in growing quantity. So we're fortunate that we have quite a bit of market diversification, and we were able to move past the China suspension with minimal impact on our industry.
What do you see being done to address any concerns over stability of that access to the Chinese market?
Well, again, having more markets than just China available to us, that gives us, we have very, very good customers in Japan and Korea in particular, but growing customers. We sell quite a bit into Taiwan. So having that market diversification, and of course, with as we prepare for the review of the USMCA, it's always good to have good market diversification.
You bring up the U.S. How worrisome are trade and tariff dynamics for your industry where that American market is concerned?
Well, the U.S. and Canada, we have the largest two-way trade in live cattle and beef in the world, and it's a highly integrated market. We're bringing in close to 480,000 head of feeder cattle that'll be fed, a lot of them in southern Alberta and Ontario. So it's very, very important. The U.S. and Canada are our two largest markets. There's no one else that can replace those two. So it's vitally important that we work through, and we're down at our counterparts meeting in Nashville at the National Cattlemen's Beef Association, and we're committed to working together and working with our government, but of course meeting with their legislators as well to do everything we can to maintain tariff-free access in both directions.
As you mentioned a moment ago, CUSMA plays into that. So what will your industry be looking for out of a review of that trade agreement? Where does it land on the radar?
I think what we're hearing, and there was close to 170 groups in the United States just sent in a letter a month ago. The first thing is do no harm. we have the largest two-way trade in agriculture products in the world, not just cattle and beef. And it's vitally important for producers on both sides of the border that we're able to do it. And it makes us more competitive when we do export to Asia. Whenever there's weather conditions or whatever, we move cattle and feed around between the US and Canada, so we're actually able to maintain our production systems more effectively. There is some modernization of the agreement, but for the most part, we've had tariff-free access since 1990, and it's really important to maintain that.
All right. If for one maybe quick final question, we bring it back to the China element, how soon before you see Canadian beef headed to that market?
It's possible. Of course, it takes time to get over there if it's going by boat. So within a month, I think you could see Canadian beef showing up with some of our customers a lot of it's going to go into the food service system in China. So hopefully we'll see it on the menu over there within a month.
All right. We'll have to leave it there for time. I appreciate your time this evening, Mr. Laycraft. Thank you, sir.
Oh, yeah, thank you.
Dennis Laycraft is Executive Vice President of the Canadian Cattle Association.